I'm Jamie Poole, welcome to Underwood Homes. So we've just dropped back today onto the garage to start getting that round. So put 2 courses of brick round this morning to get the levels at the damp course. And now we're just gonna get the 1 course of blocks round. We can set up our trays and then we'll build a bit more. It's face work, because it's a garage, all the blockwork's face, like it's probably not gonna be like rendered or plastered or anything. So it's lucky it's not raining today, because we wanna keep the blockwork really nice and neat, because it's gonna be seen, you know, forever. So it's just something else that we're paying attention to today. Like, we are blessed this week to have Fergie back with us. He's been away for a couple of weeks doing some other amazing jobs, but he's back with us now. Got him for 2 weeks. And we're just going to get as much as we can done.
Lonely by yourself, eh?
I do, yeah. It's just me and the dog. It gets a bit dark, you know. Right, so this is the damp course. Basically, this stops your house getting damp drawn up through the walls. So what we do is just smear a nice bit of muck down, cover the brickwork underneath, and then this sticks to it pretty much. You just flat it down nice and smooth behind and build on top of it. So we just realised, just rolled out that damp course nice and beautifully, but we forgot to fold this radon barrier underneath. So we're just going to whip that off quickly, put that in and put it on again. Right, so we've got that wall set out now, so we're just going to run this one through. We're just going to set the blockwork at the gauge, because here it changes from concrete blocks to thermolite blocks. It all gets a bit fiddly, so we're just going to see what's going on. Oh, I was guessing at 4.5. That was fucking miles out.
4951 was the other ones, quite tight joints. So
what, 4950? Is that? That's gauge, isn't it? Yeah. What's the rest of that telling us then? Measure 900 off of that one. Getting a bit closer, aren't we? Is that it?
Yeah.
And another, please, Carol. That works a dream, actually, doesn't it? Yeah, if we gain that in the joints, then that'll work half bomb, won't it? You reckon? So we set the blockwork at gauge from that end to this end. Where this block ends, that is gauge, and that means that works nice. You've got nice joints, it looks half bond, it'll look all nice and tidy. What it means is we've got more than half a block here, and you want half a block to make it work half bond. So full block is 450 or 440, so we want 220 or 225 really with a joint like this end. So what we're going to do is slide this block that way. That gives us a half block there, so our block work will look lovely. This corner all works half bond and it'll all look pretty, but it means we've got to gain this much in our perp joints. So what we're going to do now is just dry bed all the blocks through, just to make sure it looks all pretty, and then we can lay it to that, and we know it's going to look spot on basically. Alright, stay there a minute, my little poppet. We good? Dreams. So what we've done there, we've just set up a simple profile. Just makes it easier for us to run this first fiddly course round. But we've run out of clamps. Ideally we'd have at least 2 clamps on there, but we're running low, so it's a bit twitchy. We just got to keep checking it every course so that it hasn't moved. All the blockwork that side of this wall, that's the 2 bays of the garage, so that's all faced concrete blocks, because there's no insulation or anything needed in the actual parking bit. But this one is a workshop, currently a workshop, but at some point, you know, either if I do it or someone else does it in the future, it could be a little like a annex or a separate little building bit. So we're going to build this one bay out of thermolite blocks, insulate the cavity and things like that, so that it's ready to go at a later stage. So that's why we're just changing from concrete blocks to thermolite blocks here. The goal of today really was to get the garage up to this height. So that was the 2 bricks and then the one block, and now we set up a tray. Because it's cavity, any moisture that either comes through that outside wall or finds its way into the cavity somehow, it runs down the back of these blockwork, it hits this tray, which I'll show you in a minute when it's sat down properly, and any moisture just gets sent out to the outside rather than trying to come into the house or the garage. Cut the length, you fold it down the block a bit, and it just sits on like half on this block, so you build it in on your next joint so that it's just poking out the wall, and then any moisture that comes down the rest of this wall just hits that, and this eventually sits out on that top course. We do the same again, we build it in down here so it's like a nice tray, it catches any water and it goes out through the wheat vents on the outside. Just noticed a hole in it there. I don't know why, it must be because I buy the cheap damp course, but every now and then it's got like a hole, it looks like it's been melted in there, which is a nightmare. So all I do is just put a bit of duct tape over that front and back in a minute, and that should solve the problem. But I don't know why it happens, it just turns up on rolls like that sometimes. Like I said, you gotta have this radon barrier, this got to fold over this inside leaf and down into the cavity, but you still got to put your damp course on top of that, even though this is basically the same stuff. What that means is you just end up with quite a lot of plastic, like, you know, in the corners here it folds over and it gets quite stacked up. You end up with quite, you know, a fat bit there to try and get over. You've only got a 10mm bed, so that's why I'm struggling here and down the other end to get my blocks right down to the line, just because it's quite fat. I mean, it's not really a problem, we get over it over the next few courses, but it's just something to be aware of, like. That makes me feel old. 20 years since girls are out. So this bit here is just one of the garage pillars. So from here, there's a pillar in the middle and one the other end, and they just have big lintels over. This is basically the doorway for the cars to drive through. So we're trying to get this bit up now. But to do that, I've just got to set this brickwork out, so I'm just figuring out how it's going to go, but it's quite easy. 2 bricks that way and a bit back that way. So hopefully one day next week the steels are going to turn up, so I'm hoping that'll be the next time I see you. If you want to know anything, leave a comment, ask any questions you want to know, and I'll get back to you, and that's it. I'll see you on the next one.